that taken care of soon. It says LB is in the DM seat. Guess what? That's not really happening, but maybe sometime soon. Today is February 8th, 2021, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards where anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to post them in the Twitch chat to the side or join us in the Discord. You can find the link down below. Ask those questions and questions for the courts. We will do our best to respond in kind. But if you already support us on YouTube, you already support us on Twitch, you already support us on Patreon and all of those other wonderful spaces, and you're thinking to yourself, where can I go to help support this wonderful show even more? Well, guess what, buddy? We got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, clocks, aprons, all sorts of wonderful things, including, that's right, it was upside down, Tia masks. We have face masks in the 5 glorious chromatic colors of the dragon goddess herself, and with all of the proceeds from those masks going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause or help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. But that is it for my spiel. So, hey RJ, who are you playing tonight?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ.
You son of a bitch.
Hi everyone, I'm LBHackEmUp, and I'm going to be playing Gwen, the halfling barbarian fighter.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. I'm going to be playing Arjhan, the Draconian Ranger. I have to look at my thing on the layout to read that because I keep changing it. Him.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings. I'm playing as Cori, the Elegant Paladin. We both use she, her.
And I'm the Indoor Adventurer. I have fixed this layout, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, you guys had just gotten done with your preparations to fight the Winter Primordial Vinrue, and using an altered teleportation circle by your Shatterkai wizard cleric Caelum, you were all able to manifest yourselves in the heart of winter itself. After a grueling and horrific combat fighting against this Winter Primordial, you all were able to be victorious, but not without significant losses. The Eladrin known as Cypress, who had been overtaken by the spirit of winter, had become frozen solid and thusly shattered due to a scattershot style spell. It was also during this time that Caelum ended up falling in combat, and in a moment of spite, Vinrue looked directly at Cori and decided that they were going to take 2 things from her, not just Cypress, but the boy that she had traveled with, who also looked incredibly much like Cypress. It was at that point that you were all able to defeat Vinrue. Gwen finally having her runt axe gain its exalted form, calling upon the spirits of all runts past, and Cori laid the final blow against Vinrue. As the blizzard around you came to a still, you rushed over to Caelum, pulled out a diamond that he had on him, and Cori, you spoke the name Ivea Bin and cast the Revivify spell onto Caelum. And as the diamond bursts into more of this divine dust that seems to settle onto Caelum's body, the magic goes, and it doesn't take. But you see that there is, like, steam that seems to be coming off of Caelum's body.
What's happening?
Arjhan, it has to be you. He won't respond to me. You have to do it.
Tell me what happened.
It didn't work. We have seconds.
And Cori, as you look down at Caelum, it looks like he is becoming more gaunt as the seconds pass.
She just steps away to let Arjhan get to him.
Arjhan is going to kneel over Caelum and hold out his hand that has his own diamond ring on it. And put his hand over his chest and say, "My queen, I would very much like to make a trade for this one." And he will cast Revivify.
Arjhan, as you go to cast Revivify, make an Arcana check.
Natty 20 for a 25.
Okay, that's perfect. So as you go to make this trade, the queen loves goodies. She absolutely loves treasure. That is, well, a very common thing that you are aware of. So it is very strange to you that she resists the temptation of your offer in this. And as you attempt to cast this spell, you have the realization that your spell, this Revivify, this is for if a soul has passed between the state of the living and the dead. But in the current form that Caelum has found himself in, that being Lichdom, his soul is already trapped somewhere else, neither living nor dead. Tiamat essentially blocks you from doing this because she is incapable of taking his spirit from the afterlife where it be and placing it back into his body. Arjhan, you also know, though, with your natural 20 and having a history of dealing with the undead previously, that creatures such as liches have a regenerative property. When they die, their bodies aren't truly dead, but after a series of time will actually reform to wherever their phylactery is.
She won't take it. His soul isn't free. It's still here.
What does that mean for him?
I mean, depending on... I mean, he's a lich. Isn't he? He should reform near his anchor.
All right. Cori will step away from Caelum and go and try and assess the condition of Cypress, which is in fact shattered. She's going to put some effort into regaining all of the pieces.
Okay. So make a perception check.
Oh. Natural 20 for a 25.
God damn you
damn.
guys. What a way to start this shit off. So, Cori, as Cypress had shattered from the brunt of these magical arrows having hit against him, you know that there are bits and pieces that were so minuscule and so small that they were carried away by the winds of the blizzard in Vinrue's final moments. However, the majority of him is still here. There is still other snow. You know that you aren't going to be able to puzzle piece him directly back together. That doesn't seem like something that you're going to be able to do in the next 10 minutes to be able to even get close to a Revivify. However, you're able to at least scoop up the snow and effectively like snowman ball all of his pieces together into a collected source. You do have a bag of holding with Arjhan. You have other things such as Caelum's portable hole that you can also put the pieces of cypress in as well. You have means of collecting the remnants of this boy. But the thing that you see on him is that there is one piece of him that is not completely encoded in ice, and that is a thin golden band that is along one of his ring fingers that you know as the now empty Ring of Winter. The winds howl.
Frankie. Me too. She's going to pull the ring off of the finger, and put that someplace safe and finish collecting all of the pieces.
Okay. And Gwen, what are you doing during this time? You have still quite a few of these barbarian spirits that are
9.
with you.
Oh, no, 8.
They're here for a while. If I do recall the ability of the axe. Yeah, they're kind of chilling. And
An hour.
yeah. And at this point, like, Grayskull is going up to Salamarn, like, having a conversation, and you can see that she's, like, already done with this, but, like, there was a communal cheer of your barbarians that were all very pleased when the battle was over. Not that they, of course, wanted the battle to be over. They were still down to fight, but victory is so sweet to them. And standing before you, there is these 8 barbarians, these berserkers, and you recognize 2 out of them. But the 2 that seem to stand out the most, one of which is a 7.5 foot tall horned individual that you recognize as the one that had helped you reach that point of inner fire. And the other one that seems to be the most notable is one that looks very much like you, but tall.
Gwen will approach Jakan.
Yes, Jakan.
All right. And she'll kind of like put her arm up for a hearty grasp on his, and just, dude, thanks.
He will reach down and go past your hand, grab your forearm, and just pulls you up and pops you onto his shoulder. It's no problem, Tutor.
I love him. What the fuck is going on?
The axe chose you, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going on. If anything, we should be asking you, why did it take you so fucking long to get us out here? Why is it so cold?
Gwen kind of like slow turns to Grayskull like, well, I wasn't really informed of all the things that this axe could do.
And then Grayskull just like looks back at you, just and like Salamarn like wraps him in a headlock and just sort of starts like roughhousing with him a little bit. And Jakan like deep-hearted laughs and says, "He was never able to get to this point."
Oh, that makes sense.
That's a fucking lie, and you know it, Jakan.
So, like, who the fuck are you? And who's that?
And I'm guessing you're pointing towards tall individual.
The Gwen-looking individual.
Yeah, and Jakan says, Jakan Hornbluff, but you can just call me Jakan. Well, to be fair, I've probably maybe like 3-4 runs down the line. She was my teacher. And he points over towards the one who looks like you. The last of her kind. She's a full ling.
I'm sorry. Did you? Fuck you, Endor. Did you just say a foaling?
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay, here's a little bit of maybe a history lesson for you, right? Did you ever wonder why you, as somebody who's so short of stature but big of heart, was able to be picked up by the Goliaths? You come from the same tree.
Like ancestry tree?
And that is when you hear, oh yeah, duder. And the tall individual who looks like you comes up and she says, Tandriel Stompfoot, nice to meet you, fucker.
Tandriel Stompfoot?
That is her name.
Indor, what the fuck?
Yep.
Ling is my true name in Asia.
Oh my god.
Wait, Stompfoot?
She nods. It was a family name.
I picked that name.
She just sort of like shrugs and says, it's a good name.
It is a good name. Maybe it was destined. Holy shit. Wow.
Jakan just starts laughing and then just sort of like sets you back down, like picks you up by your head and just boop into the snow. And then he's gonna go over with the other berserkers that seem to be just like roughhousing in the snow. And she, Tandriel, kind of squats down till she's on your level, and she says, "No, it's true. You are, kind of. I mean, one way or another, ancestor. You look familiar. Oh shit, because you look like me. That's why. Huh? Weird."
Huh. Weird. So, like, you're like, how old, how long ago did you die?
She says, I don't know, I stopped keeping track after a while. Got boring, you know? Like, every once in a while you think, like, oh, this might be the end of it. No one's gonna find the axe again. It's up on top of a mountain or something. And then, you know, like, Hakan shows up. Jakan shows up, he finds the axe, he starts talking all about a bunch of shit. I get really excited, he gets really excited, we start killing dragons and shit. It was fucking awesome.
You were around when there were dragons?
Yeah.
There's
Obviously.
only one left.
Oh.
And he's like, my friend, I almost fucked him, but you know, I decided probably
nice.
not a good idea.
And she, like, presents Nux for you.
So, like, this is crazy. So, what's a foaling?
All right, so, history lesson time. I'm only going to say it once, so you best pay attention. Me, my people, we were the Lings. We lived high up in the mountains, minded our own business. Then one day, portal opens up, really small dude shows up, saying that his name was like Garl or something like that. I don't know, he sounded fucking weird. Anyways, he starts doing all of this like weird and wonderful and magical shit, making everybody around him think, oh, this is super cool. This is a great time. If you can't tell, I don't like this fucker. So eventually, he says,
wait,
hey.
Was he a gnome?
I'm getting to that part.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
So eventually, he says, if you like all of these awesome, crazy, cool things that I do, I can also make you like me, right? And everyone just thought like, oh, that's such a good idea. Oh, that's such a great idea. This guy's like magical and stuff. He came portals. Awesome. No, not awesome. He took our height. He took most of our height, he put it in these fucking gems inside of the mountains and shit, and all of a sudden these gems started sprouting legs and talking and looking like Garl. We became super short people, and the people who weren't into Garl's horse shit points over towards Grayskull and the rest.
So, you're telling me that halflings were Goliaths.
And then that Garl glitter fucker took our height. Took a lot of our strength with him, too.
Oh, my gods. What an asshole.
I hate him. I hate him so
Is
much.
Did he die?
No!
Does he have ancestors I could... What? He didn't die?
No! As soon as we all started trying to rise up against him, he just started laughing and skipped off, went through another portal. And now, all those little fuckers that came from the gems, they all worship him as like their progenitor deity or some shit.
Deity. That's fucked up. That's super fucked up, and I'm probably gonna kill him.
Do it. I'll be there. The minute
Yeah.
you can sink an axe into his cheeky little face, I want you to summon me. I want to be there.
I will do that. I have another question. Since I'm new to all of, and shilling motions to all of the Goliaths and whatnot over there, are you guys all gonna be in my head?
And they all look at each other and just shrug.
All right, we're gonna have some rules.
You lay him out.
Uh,
You're a chieftain.
yeah, I just, she kind of like starts to think, and like her eyes trail off over to like the rest of the group. Can you give me just a minute?
Yeah, sure.
right,
And as
cool.
she says that, she stands back up and like looks around, sees that Jakan isn't paying attention, and like gets into a lower stance and is just going to be like steadily creeping up on him.
At this point, Gwen is going to move over to the group and just kind of like look down at Caelum and everyone and like, what are you guys doing? Bring him back.
We can't.
What do you mean you can't? You said you can bring
His-
people back from the dead.
His soul isn't free, Gwen.
What do you mean?
He's a lich. His soul is anchored here. It's not where either Cori or my gods can reach him.
Wait, his soul is anchored to what?
Did Caelum ever tell us?
He's got his soul on him, right?
Yeah.
It's in his bag.
Okay.
Wait, okay, sorry. I'm trying to understand. So his soul, we can't put his soul back in his body because it's on his person?
Do you remember when we found him after the whole ASMR lab business?
Yeah.
We had to go and track down his soul in the lab.
Right. Yeah.
It was in a barrel.
Yeah.
It was a doll.
Right.
It should still be in his bag.
Right. What I'm saying is we have it, right? Why can't we transfer it into his body?
Because it's not in a place where our gods can reach it.
Oh.
Our magics are not formulated to deal with that sort of situation.
Turns back to the group of Goliaths. Hey guys, can I like take a soul and put it back into a body if it's like right here? Is that something I can do now?
They all look at each other and just communal shrugs.
Right.
Jakan gets
So-
flipped off the mountain.
Yeah. Like, you see at that point, Tandriel, like, grabs a hold of his thigh and just uproots him from where he was standing, and he, like, ass over tea kettles back into the snow. Much laughter is had.
Okay, so we have his soul, we have his body, we just have to, like, combine them some. How can one of the Fae do that?
I mean, if he's a lich, he should reform next to his body.
So like a new body?
Maybe. I've never seen it before. I've only destroyed the things anchoring the souls.
Right. So did we look to see if the thing was in his bag?
Checking his bag.
Caelum, what's
In the portable hole.
the bag?
There's a portable hole. He stashed all his gear in the portable hole.
The hole is in the bag.
Yes.
Playing out the hole.
So the
is-
soul's in the hole in the bag.
at the bottom of the sea.
There's a hole in your bag. It all fell out.
It's a doll in the hole.
Yeah, you if you like scatter everything, there's like books, magical, like the magical quill set that Cori gave him, a couple of weapons left over from people who didn't take them, and then a small Caelum shaped doll flops out.
It's like a little marionette figure that looks very much like Caelum, or at least did look like Caelum before, everything has happened.
Take the doll and I'm just gonna like put it next to Caelum.
How long does this normally take?
I have no idea. Hopefully not too long. Cori, did you get what you needed?
So, I got all the pieces.
You
I
guys
mean,
won.
Hopefully whenever he comes back,
Can we just like
may be able to fabricate him back.
Right? Can we just take him with? I mean, like, there's a lot of really powerful fey creatures like close, right?
Sure, it just depends on if they have that sort of magic at their disposal.
Right. I feel like we should be able to find someone here.
Someone who
It
can
wasn't
turn
his fault.
someone who can turn ice back to flesh.
Or like just bring him back. I've heard of that before, like not needing a body. I know it's like super powerful and stuff. Do you guys want to meet my Goliath friends? You guys don't seem to be shocked that are here, that I'm still in shock that are here.
I was actually very impressed by that, Gwen. You should have gone the way of Cypress, actually.
Yeah, that's thanks to my new friend, Jakan.
They all have like little name tags that say like, "Hi, my name is."
Bless.
Did you guys know that halflings used to be fullings, and then they got fucked over by this guy named Garl, and he tricked them into becoming halflings, and then they were Goliaths. Like there were Goliaths and there were halflings, but they're all the same thing.
What?
Yeah, apparently. Look at that one. She points to Tandriel.
Looks very much like Gwen if Gwen was like through the Wonka taffy machine.
She's like my ancestor. She's like the first Stompfoot. Well, probably not the first Stompfoot, but like the first that I met.
I don't think I have the mental bandwidth to process this.
Yeah.
Yeah, was she the
Guys,
one
come
talking
here.
about killing dragons?
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, he's cool. He's my best friend, okay?
Tandriel like looks over and like gives a thumbs up and then is just immediately tackled by a Grayskull.
This is fucking sweet. Right, sorry. Problem at hand.
And as you are discussing said problem at hand, the winds have died down, the blizzard has died down. The clouds are still a blanket of just that deep, snowy gray. But even they are beginning to lighten up ever so.
I'm really not sure there's anything that we can do about the problem at hand. We just have to wait.
All right. Is this a safe place to wait? I mean, I know we probably killed the big bad, but captured it, but
Vinrue's contained.
Oh yeah, I have him in a jar.
Thank you.
I have a
Keep
jar
him there
style.
for now.
yeah.
It's inside it.
Yeah, what does it look like? No.
It's
It's not a clear jug.
No, it's
Look.
like a ceramic vase.
Yeah, it's like an urn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, do we tell everybody that
Can we
everything's
tell?
done?
Can we tell everybody?
Tell them what?
I'm more questioning how.
Your
Well, I
messenger
just-
boy's dead.
Yeah.
I know. True.
Shut your face.
Well, I
We're
can book a
going to-
room until time works different here.
We're going to have to do this the slow way. Either that, or she looks at her sending stone to Oliviette, and she's all like, "That's too complicated."
Yeah. Well, if we're gonna just hoof it, okay. First question: do we have any idea which way to go? Cori, this is your.
Having
Well-
teleported into the middle of a snowy field.
Yep. Well, let's be honest. We're a little bit stranded.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to take us a while to find any sort of remnants of civilization here on the Winter Isles. And it's likely that we're either going to have to wait for someone to come and get us, or we're going to have to find some other method of transportation off of the isle.
Right. Okay. Question: do you know like where we transported in? Like, are we in the middle of the island?
It should be the exact middle, I think.
Okay. Which way is the next aisle over from here?
That's a good question.
Which aisle is the closest? Is that what you said?
Well,
Yeah,
which
I guess-
direction is it?
My
I mean,
question
we want
is
to
if we
start
just
heading
start
towards the
technically,
coast.
Yeah.
it would be west. Do you know what direction west is currently?
I can
make a
find
survival
out.
check.
Yeah. Let's figure it out. Let's roll some
Okay.
survivals.
Oh my god.
Ooh, 22.
The load-bearing boss didn't just make the castle destroy
He
itself.
left a
and then-
piece of heart with like a glowy thing in it.
And then like a lever that we can pull and get to the beginning of the dungeon again.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, this has never happened before. Normally we just start where we need to be.
All right, so Gwen with a 22. You wait for the clouds to part until eventually you can see at least a little bit of the night sky, because without being able to properly gauge a bearing, you know that it's going to be pretty difficult to actually figure out where you're going to go. So it's going to be a little bit of time. At this point, it would probably be the full hour after you brought forth your Goliath barbarians. And at that point, they would all begin to kind of just like fade away. But they all like give you very hearty waves, promises that they'll see you again, that sort of thing, as they then just sort of fade out. And as the clouds part, there is a Coriolis effect that is happening above you, just a very nice kind of wavy color of these greens and vibrant blues that just course through the night sky. And there is a moon. Who would have thought the Feywild had a moon? It's pretty obvious that this place would have one of those things. But thankfully, watching it in the sky, you can see it beginning to shift, and you know at least generally what direction sun and moon goes. Cori, you would at least be able to assist in this, knowing the general like geographical anomalies of the Feywild. And with the direction of the moon setting where it does, you are able to gauge the direction of west, the direction that you need to go to eventually hit a coastline of sorts. And as the time has passed, Caelum's body has become more and more decayed, but it looks like it is more just kind of like fading away. It's not leaving behind a shriveled corpse as much as it is just sort of leaving with the wind, leaving all of his gear and everything like that behind.
Okay, let's just let's put that away for now. This
Put it
is
in
what
the hole.
should be happening, right? Yeah.
Okay, you
Put it in the hole.
just put Caelum's body, his soul in the hole, leaving it at that. Seems good.
We take all of his gear.
Okay.
Well,
Sounds good.
it's going in the hole too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just making things easy. The hole doesn't have a weight limit. Makes sense. And you are able to begin heading west. And as you do, the night is clear. The winds have subsided. And as the three of you are walking amongst the snows, you see something off in the distance that is glowing, and it looks like it is making its way towards you. And it is just this bright red color that seems to be like piercing through the night sky. And as it gets closer, you hear the sound of laughter and leathery wings as Scorchbane, the archfey dragon that you had met, one of the kings of summer, makes his way above you. And they go for a wide sweep and eventually then land down onto the ground. And the first thing that they say is,
"Congratulations, all you slayers! As soon as Vinrue was defeated, the forces of winter began to fall across the Isle. I know. One of you is missing.
Yeah, he fell in battle, but he'll be fine.
His sacrifice was not in vain."
Right.
And there is just like steam rising up from around Scorchbane. He is just
boy.
exuding heat. And it is just causing a bunch of the snow around him to just kind of melt.
And what of
Sir.
spring? Oh shit! Which if it's spring, right? Everybody was holding up.
Everybody
at
was
spring.
holding off at spring.
Okay.
Scorchbane says,
Because of you and your quick thinking, spring was able to be heavily defended. Winter had to double back to try and fight off Caelum and myself to try and lay winter back down. However, we proved more than a match for them.
Yeah. Good job, my dude. Do you know anyone who can resurrect someone?
Hags, they would be able to resurrect the dead.
Like good hags?
Like without a body.
Without a body, I am unsure.
Well, possibly with a body. Reversing. Can they turn flesh to ice or ice to flesh?
I am unsure. I have not ever had to pose this question before to any of my peers.
Well, maybe we should get the council together to have a chat. Just to like go over everything that's happened and like we'll tell the tale. Can you fly us there?
It would be my honor.
and Scorchbane like lowers himself down and like droops a shoulder for you guys to hop on. And as you do, he says,
100%.
Tell no one I did this for you.
and then he takes off. And it takes several hours. He just doesn't like over your time traveling, he just doesn't like the idea of people thinking that like he's a taxi of sorts. You guys have had his help several times, but never have you been able to just like hop on the back of this ancient red dragon and hope for the best. But thankfully, he seems to be in good spirits. And as he continues to fly, through this night sky, the beautiful Corollas effect happening above you. You eventually are going over the ocean. You are then back over the Autumn Isle, and you can see that there are these giant mushrooms that seem to actually have capped over the surface of most of the isle, preventing a lot of the snowfall from reaching in. And even the snowfall that did manage to be on top, you can see has begun to thaw. The snows around here and the ice that was covering most of the ocean is still there and will be there for quite some time. But you can see that the rows and rows of these frozen soldiers, these simulacrums of Cyprus, are not there. It is just vacant ice. And Scorchbane passes over the Fall Isle unless you all wanted to make a quick stop there for any which reason. Going past the city of Caelen's bridge, you can see that there are quite a few of these Eladrin figures that had emerged out from a Fomorian fortress deep beneath the city that are now on the city streets watching you all go by. And there is awe in their eyes, and you can even see this from as high up as you travel. Scorchbane likes to travel a little bit lower so people know that he's there, but you can see that there is just this utmost relief and thanks that seems to come from these people. They aren't able to verbally express it in a way that you can hear over the sound of wind whipping by, but you can see it in their eyes that they are so thankful to have their homes back. And as you pass over Fall, you once again traverse this frozen sea up until the point where there is a break line as you reach the Summer Isles. And Scorchbane, as you all had asked to hold a council, will actually fly to the Amphitheater of the Kings, make several large looping circles, and like just fire into the air with his draconic breath as a signal fire, essentially to meet at this place before landing down once again, and then allowing you all to then exit off of his back.
Well, that
You
was
have
a show.
made
Thank you.
Difference.
Thank you, Scorchbane. You have been a mighty warrior and friend and companion to us, and we appreciate you.
As you say mighty warrior, he preens a little bit, like he stands up a little bit straighter. And then when you say, like, you've been a good friend and companion, he's like, you see him kind of like, oh, those aren't the words I'm looking for.
That's all I got, dude.
And he says,
I have made the queen proud.
and he looks over towards you, Arjhan, and he gives a nod, almost like,
I did, right? I helped protect the land, like you said.
I can't answer that.
You could answer that.
No, I can't. I can't.
Oh.
And
you
I'm
can
gonna.
assume.
I am gonna walk over to Scorchbane. But I have seen your power firsthand, and I am impressed. There are no more dragons on the area where we're from. I've never witnessed that power firsthand. And I'm not sure that winter would have fallen without it.
and again, he sort of like stands up a bit straighter.
Scorchbane, help me understand. Speak to me the name of fire. Show me the power of your elemental essence, your birthright. Show me the power that the Queen of Dragons has bestowed upon you. Show me that this is worth it.
Okay. And so, for the purposes of this, you all would have definitely been able to have a short rest traveling across.
Oh yes.
As a
please.
reminder,
Okay.
you all can.
I have concerns.
No, it's fine.
I'm like, I could have done this at full health. Right now, that might be iffy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll 14 plus 3 times 14. Shit, what's that? 42.
Yes, it's 42.
76 plus 42 is... I'd be back up to full.
Okay. All right. So, Gwen, you and Cori are outside of this. Scorch.
No, I go, so it is only me
Okay.
in front of Scorchbane.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was meaning, is that because it is a cone, they are outside of where this would end up happening. Scorchbane picks up what you are putting down, and he rears back, and the two of you see this deep elemental energy roll up from in his chest, up his gullet, and as he cocks his head back and spits out, he is going to unleash this ancient fire upon you, Arjhan. I need you to make a dexterity save.
I fail.
Okay.
I choose to fail.
Alrighty. You are going to be taking 96 points of fire damage, point blank, from this ancient red dragon.
I absorb the elements. 96 would be half to 48. Cool.
Gwen and Cori are just like, you know, the fight went really well, and I think, oh my god!
Gout of flame.
And it's like Scorchbane's head is just kind of like rocking back and forth as this flame is just like shoots out in this massive gout.
And you just see like Arjhan, like just this like bit of black darkness up against this like roaring fire, just like standing defiant against the flames, and absorbing it into himself.
I imagine that, like, as you are absorbing these elements, the symbol of Tiamat upon your back is just sort of glowing, but like the flames are being absorbed into that. And then as the fire continues, at that last bit, your wings just sort of spread out and almost like hands brushing away dust off of a counter space just dissipate it around you. And there is like this circle beneath you of where the flames were unable to touch.
Gwen mom arms Cori as this is happening.
Yes.
Is mom armed?
Yes, I think the queen would be quite pleased.
And at that, Scorchbane like looks at you, and you hear his deep laughter begin yet again. And then he cocks his head back and just unleashes that laughter into the night sky as he does. And then comes back down and says,
You are worthy. Not just as a guardian of the feywild, but to withstand my fire. You must be hardy. Not just as a warrior, I did not even see you flinch at my flames.
Thank you, Scorchbane.
I deserve no thanks. The pleasure was mine.
and Scorchbane is just like beside himself that there is this creature that just withstood his most hardy fiery blast going on towards it. And as he is resting, or as he's saying this, there is a rumble upon the earth, and you see a large tortoise-like creature just sort of like emerge up from the ground at the edge of this amphitheater. There is a rushing of vines, and once again, this large myconid creature that you know is Caelum arrives here, as well as it looks like the Kings of Summer once again make their way here. The ambassador, the Aarakocra, is not there, and Redbeck. No, that's GB's character. Fuck, what's his name?
Rudbeck.
It is Rudbeck. Ruddick is GB's character.
Yes. And then Roderick was another character. Why do we do this to ourselves?
It's a good question.
Redbeck. So yes, Redbeck is not there, and neither is the ancient king himself, but the rest of the Kings of Summer that had stayed on the Summer Isle or were too slow to leave to spring are all here at this amphitheater for you. And Scorchbane is the first to let them all know that you were successful. And there is a slow nod from the large tortoise creature. There is, you think, a look of recognition from Caelum? It's very hard. They do not have facial features and are made entirely of fungus, but you see some luminescent green spores come from them in just a quick puff that then settles, and you assume that that means that they are happy with what has happened here.
Okay.
Just a quick aside to Arjhan as he walks back from that scene. Are you okay? What the fuck was that?
I wanted to know his power.
So you let him firebomb you? That's
Yes.
fucking hardcore. All right, cool. I was checking in. I mean, you'd make your own decisions, but holy shit, that was that. I mean, now that I know what you did, that was metal as fuck.
Addressing the Kings of Summer. Where is the Caelum of your land?
And Scorchbane says,
He went back to spring. That was where the line of defense was to be.
I see. Well, the Caelums must meet to discuss the fate of winter.
and he nods, says,
What of your friend? Is that not why we brought you here?
Yes. Yes, it is. Does anyone have the ability to resurrect somebody either without a body or with most of a body?
Caelum releases a burst of these green spores once again.
Does that mean yes?
I think so.
And Scorchbane nods.
I mean, this is for Cori's friend, right?
Yeah. Hey, Cori, should we tell
Cori.
them who it's for?
Should we? This
Are
is
you guys
for
like,
Cypress, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, like Corey's not doing that. This is literally Wings leaning in with
Yeah,
your
we're
characters.
Yeah,
We
we're
are talking about Cypress, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Well, yes, they probably should know who it's for.
Address the council leader.
Okay. Cori will turn around and say, unfortunately, the person who was victimized and possessed by Vinrue fell in the battle. He was petrified to ice and then shattered. We have all of the pieces still. Is there anything that we can do for him?
What languages does everyone speak?
Abyssal, Common, Draconic, Infernal.
Common giant halfling.
Common, Elven, Sylvan, and Ignan, and sometimes Ignan, and sometimes Y.
Okay. So Casen will like shift forward on on these fibrous outreachings, being that they are more of a mushroom folk. And Resic, the large turtle-like creature, speaks in this deep, earthy voice that, Cori, you are able to understand, mostly because of Ignan. This is Terran, which is a dialect of the Earth, which is a dialect of elemental speech. And they say,
You will be able to put him back together. To change ice to flesh is hedge magic.
Would you recommend that we seek the Council of Hags then?
You will need a very strong hag for this sort of thing.
I see.
Do you have or know of anyone who can restore things if they are injured or if they are exhausted?
Are you asking for greater restoration?
Yes.
It's a good point.
If you know one who is capable of such a thing, you would simply need the body in one piece.
And you did say that you can restore him to his icy form.
Kessin is good at puzzles.
Sorry, I'm laughing at a character. Okay. All right. Well, I would be forever grateful if you were to do that for me.
We owe you a great debt.
Cori will produce the pieces of cypress.
so producing the pieces of cypress. Scorchbane will like distance himself as again he just sort of radiates heat. So having like, hey, my friend turned to ice, like, and not exactly the best around that guy. But as you lay him out on, or the pieces at least out on this amphitheater, on the pedestal podium that is there, Casen, who has approached, puts a fibrous hand down onto the pedestal, and you see those like the fiber lines begin to outstretch and then wrap around pieces of cypress that you have laid out, and you see them steadily begin to shift and move upon the table as these vines begin to like put them against each other. No, it doesn't fit. Shift. No, but like that is all happening at once. It is like when you are watching like in a video game, when you watch something break in a procedurally generated way, how it all shatters at once. It is watching that in reverse of all of these pieces moving simultaneously, but all finding different pieces of purchase back to make larger forms. But as they do, you see that they are being wrapped and kept by these small, tiny fibers. So they aren't necessarily being molded back together, but they are being held by something. Until eventually, before you is a body, and it is Cypress's, and you can see that there are large like breaks along where his chest are that are almost like these large shatter bits. His arms also look like they were just broken into many, many small pieces. And the most notable thing that you see is that there is a break line that extends from his jaw up over one of his eyes that then like fractured out on top of his head in multiple areas as well. But he does not look... He himself looks restful. Like he was at a strange point of peace when all of this happened.
Cori nods affirmatively and gives them all a flourishing gratitude. She will put him back into the hole where he won't be melted.
Okay. Portable hole next to the other boy.
God damn it.
Which at this point, like, there is just clothes and gear where Caelum's body was.
She, like, briefly looks at that and then closes up the hole. And just kind of to herself, she's thinking, it's up to you now, Caelum. You've always been able to take care of yourself. Don't look at me like that.
Okay.
This is the same Caelum we're talking about, right?
Okay. So you have gotten one boy back together. You Humpty Dumptied the shit out of him. So what would you like to do now that you are up on this isle? Would you like to make your way back to the city of Summer? Are you going to try and see if Scorchbane will fly you over to Spring? What is your current plan? You're also incredibly, like, y'all had a short rest on the back of Scorchbane. Long rest seems pretty cool right now.
Mm-hmm.
Resting in Summer seems like a good idea, for the evening at least, and then like first thing in the morning, try and get to Spring and let the Caelums know what's going on.
Right. Cori, how are we getting home?
The judges 3 should be able to work that out for you. Or, at the very least, we could summon the house, and you could go in there.
Okay. Cool.
We need to go back to Spring at the very least. The house should still be on my front lawn.
Right. Cool. Maybe as we're traveling the next day on our thing, I think Gwen wants to talk to Arjhan, so
Okay.
whenever that works.
Yeah, over the evening, is there anything that you would all like to do before going to rest? As you are in this amphitheater, Kissen, ever useful, is going to create a large, like capped mushroom dome over the amphitheater to help create a barrier to keep you all from having any outside predators make their way in. And Resic, the Earth Shaker, that mighty tortoise creature, is still just like hanging out with you guys. It seems like he just didn't really want to move, so he's not going to. But over the evening, if nothing ends up happening, the next day, Kissen will actually help lead you back to the city of the city that you guys had actually left initially from. Let me see. That's not that right note. Okay. Anyway, you are heading back. And then Gwen.
How? Are we walking?
You were
We're
walking
walking,
unless you stayed otherwise.
Yeah, Gwen is going to just kind of trail back with Arjhan at one point and ask for uppies so that she doesn't have to shout.
Okay.
Hey, so how long do you want to stay here?
Well, I want to stay here until Caelum gets back.
Okay. I mean, we could just take the thing with us, right?
I mean, we could.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the tribe. Time moves differently here.
Yeah, we really do need to figure out how much time has passed here. That said, I want to make sure Cori has everything that she needs before we head out.
Right, yeah. I'm just thinking that, as soon as we have that, we should probably go.
Yeah.
We also still need to figure out what's going on in Shroudport, and especially if a bunch of time passed. I mean, I have to make sure that Philip's okay.
No, I understand.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to come with me, but that's
I
what my
will.
priority is. Yeah?
I will.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so get to the house, make sure Cori's set, wait for Caelum to come back, or bring him with us?
I mean, hopefully he'll come back before we reach spring.
How long is this trip gonna take? We kind of fast traveled last time, so. How long is it gonna take?
DM, how long does this trip take?
If you guys are sailing, you're probably looking at adding on another week to your overall travel time. If you are trying to find somebody that would possibly be able to teleport you somewheres, would probably take quicker.
Cori, how are we getting back to spring?
Do we know anybody who'd be able to teleport us?
You do. You just hate having to ask him for literally anything.
Shit, is it Damien?
It is Damien.
What's he doing here?
You know that he could teleport you, and that you could get in contact with him if need be.
We thought he was in spring.
He is in spring currently.
But he can teleport us from
from
there.
He can meet you guys and then take
Oh,
you
he could
all.
teleport to us and then
Yeah.
teleport us back. Right, okay.
That's how
All right.
magic works.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How are we going to contact him, though?
Well,
Our messenger boy's dead.
true.
We have message things.
For each other.
Why would
Oh,
you
it's
have
just
given
for
one
each
to
other.
Damien?
I know, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
No. However, your mother's office is there, and you know that she has contacts that are in spring as well. So you would guess that she probably has a way of contacting those on the spring isle. In which case, you could go to Mom's house, ask if you can use her phone real quick.
Yeah, essentially. Out of consideration, she's going to want to get her friends home as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So essentially, yeah, go to Mom's house. Mom probably isn't there, but
No.
find her phone.
Yeah, you know how to let yourself in.
All right. Through the window. She'll go find Mom's phone, which is to say probably, I don't know, it probably could even literally be an actual magic phone.
Yeah, your dad built it.
Nice. It's got one of those those little brrrt, brrrt, brrrt.
A rotary.
Yeah, it's a Cruella de Vil phone. You know. Or a rotary. We could just call it what it actually is.
It's fine.
It has the
Fine.
one ear and then the mouthpiece.
Yes.
And Cori always had difficulty like speaking into the earpiece and holding the mouthpiece up and just like getting them confused.
Getting them mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cori mixes up those two and then like writes it and everything. And she's gonna call her mom, basically, and then ask her to find Damien and arrange some teleportation.
And when you hear your mother's voice, you're always used to her being a very like stern as steel, always like maintaining a level of professionalism, but not even she can escape the amount of relief that comes from hearing her daughter's voice and knowing that Winter is taken care of. Again, it's not exactly a secret when an entire army of ice individuals just turn to nothing on their as they are attempting to invade. So as you are going through the streets of Summer, people are noticing you there, and they are just like very pleased. You can see that like a lot of the people here remember seeing you come in. The ones that weren't able to actually get out of Summer just yet, as you've been gone for, at this point, roughly about 10 days from the last time that you were here. Yeah, it'd be closer to around 12 days. So there are still people who are trying to get on ships that weren't able to. And you just hear them talking about how they heard that one of the Caelums was able to actually put a stop to all of this. That is the story that is being told from them. They heard from people on Fall that a group of adventurers actually were able to put a stop to this, and they don't necessarily know that it was your group, but you can hear them talking about how pleased that they were, how happy that they are that this has happened. As this is happening and you are waiting, and this is probably around towards the end of that day that you arrived in Spring and made the phone call, there is a magical pop as a very tired, very exasperated looking Damien appears in your mother's office and just, I never thought I would be actually happy to say this, but I'm glad you're here. Wait, where's the other...
What's up, asshole?
Hi. Didn't you have somebody else with you?
He's working on getting back.
All right. Well, that's besides the point. Look, I'm going to say it bluntly. I'm going to say it plainly. Thank you. To the both of you and to you. And he motions towards you, Cori. I don't know what the three of you did, but you just made my workload so much lighter. I don't have to worry about any of these plans with a severe time constraint now. I can get some sleep, maybe, in the next couple of days. Although your mother has been telling me that she wants to work out how to get everyone back to their proper islands and is leaving logistics to me. But that's besides the point. I'm going to assume that you all want to go home.
Yes, please.
All right, well, hold the hands, get in a circle, whatever it is that you do. I don't want to really hold your hands. I need those for the spell, but if you want to, hold on to my robe while it happens, I guess that can be the case.
Grab his robes.
Grab his robes.
Yep, and after another casting of teleport, there is that lurching feeling of teleportation magic, and then you find yourself on the Spring Isle in front of the Jonquil compound with the Manor of Moon's Tear resting on a hill just as you left it. And as the four of you, being you three and Damien, are all standing here looking out over the gentle sea of spring, you hear a familiar barking. And then another bark that seems to come with it.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
And you see Cybra tear around the gates of the compound, making her way up towards you. And as she does, you see this other dog that seems to have a little bit more of pointier ears running alongside her. And as Cybra gains more speed, they seem to vanish and then reappear next to her as the two of them make their way towards your group. And that is where we are going to go into our break for the evening, as Cybra just lunges and dives onto Gwen to give her all of the face kisses that she can possibly muster. We are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon! And we're back! Yeah? That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. So yes, welcome back, everybody. And I feel like that is actually a pretty good time to also say, don't stress yourself over creative projects if you don't have the mental capacities for them. Sometimes it's okay to have a break. So with that, we're back where we last left off, here on the spring isle next to the Jonquil compound. Gwen, you have just been tackled by the goodest doggo that ever there was, Cybra, who is giving you all sorts of face kisses, happy to see her best friends again. Another pupper has also popped in and arrived as well. And at this point, there is a sound of what you can hear is like what you assume would be a distant explosion if you knew that distant meant inside of the compound. And it seems like your dad is still just tinkering away, doing things. And at this point, Damien just asks, all right, I've got you here. Do you want me to let everyone else know that you're here? You should probably talk to the judges to let them know. They already know, but they charged you with this thing. They might be able to help your friends travel back, like you were saying. I don't know what the deal is, but again, not your messenger boy, but okay. You're always going to hold a grudge about that? You got better. Fair point. And Damien just sort of like straightens his robes out a little bit and then begins walking off. And as he does, and he's making his way past the opening of the compound, he looks in and like gives a little bit of a fright and then seems to be walking a mite bit faster. Oh yeah, it seems like you guys were not able to be unmuted when that happened. That's weird. You are unmuted now. Thank you, Levi, for pointing that out in the group chat.
Whoops.
Schwupsie. Haha, my plan to get past the break bit worked flawlessly.
The break bit
we
that
totally
didn't exist.
No, we totally did something really cool, and you guys just missed
it was
it.
It was
great.
the coolest.
It was an amazing one.
I said a joke that should never be uttered ever again.
Yep. If
And
you
we
did,
won't.
we would all explode.
Yep.
It was the pact that we formed. So Damien gives a little bit of a fright as he looks inside the compound, and you see like a trail of smoke that seems to be moving. And towards the end of it, Cori, you see at the opening, your dad. He's covered in soot. It looks like he was working on something that ended up backfiring, and just looks at Damien. And then he looks up in the direction of your group, and he puts a hand over his mouth and you see him like shaking a little bit. And then he just begins like beelining up towards you. And as he does, without saying anything, covered in soot, and now that he's closer, you can see that like there is tear coming down his one good eye, that is just like leaving a trail in the smoke and grime that had caked themselves onto his face, and he just gives you a big hug. And in a quivering voice, he says, I'm so glad you're home.
I'm glad to be home.
And he just like back of your head into his shoulder, and he just squeezes you that much harder, and then like pulls you back, hands on your shoulders, and
soot on her face.
Yes, like soot on you now. And he goes over towards you, Gwen, as you're like having stood up from Cybra tackling you, and he just like scoops you up into a big hug. He's just like, thank you for keeping her safe. And like, he's not a very strong man, but like you can feel like the discomfort of your ribs being squeezed in from like too tight a hug, and then drops you down, and now you are also covered in soot. And then he looks over at you, Arjhan, and like he puts his arms out for a hug and doesn't know how like geometrically he would like do the same thing, so instead he like offers his hand out to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Cybra.
No, it's the other blink dog. Or the blink dog.
yes. And it seems like Cyber and the Blink Dog are just like kind of playing with each other next to your group as well. And your dad ends up saying, where's your other friend? Is he inside? And he points to the house.
Inside something.
Cori kind of like swats at Gwen a little bit.
Well, when
Sorry.
you see him, tell him thank you.
Of course.
Now, I'm sure you look like you've been through a lot. You're covered in soot. Here.
Yeah, Cori gets out a handkerchief and she like wipes off her own face, and she starts like in vain wiping off her dad's face. But like, you know, gets the parts that matter and like kind of like hands it to him. It's like, here, wipe off your hands. Hold on, we need to get you inside, get you fixed up.
And so you do. And he leads you back into the compound, and you can see that there's like some of these gnomes that he usually works with, like one has a fire extinguisher that they're just like spraying down something in the actual like workshop area. And he leads you back into the kitchen area. He's going to at least like set up a bunch of food for you all, and just starts asking, how is your trip? What happened? He wants to know everything that happened since he last saw you.
Yeah. Cori will fill him in on the whole thing, basically from the moment that they left.
Okay.
And she tells it in that way where like she gets distracted by every little thing and then like winds off going down rabbit trails. And since we don't have a Knights in the Courtyard equivalent in this world, like she just gets really distracted and it takes forever to tell the story.
For sure. Do you mention the fact that you got eaten by the Fomorian ruler?
Or
Or that you heard a voice that only comes up once in a very, very infrequent while?
I don't think she mentions anything about Shar. I do think that she mentions that she had a run-in with the Fomorians. I don't think she necessarily
goes too much into that.
She doesn't dwell on the fact that she died.
Until he hears the bard songs.
Oh, that's just hyperbole, Dad. I didn't really get eaten. They're like, no, she super did. I saw it.
My own eyes. Yeah, she sanitizes the scarier parts of the story.
Okay. Yeah, and he is totally on board to hear everything about this. He lets you know that everyone was very worried about your group, as they should have been. It was kind of like a last line of hope for them. So the fact that he is seeing you now makes him very pleased. The fact that there aren't icemen marching across a frozen sea anymore, big plus for the Feywild. People are very excited about that one. And it seems like he has found himself taking care of 2 pets. It seems like he had been setting food out for Cybra because she wanted to stay next to the Manor of Moonsteer. She didn't want to actually stay in the house while she was waiting for you guys. And then he would just leave food out there for her. And one morning he went out and there was another, a blink dog there, just kind of hanging out with her. And so he just started leaving food out for 2. This is his dog now, he guesses. He wasn't really a dog person, but if you've ever met a dad who didn't want a dog at first and then got a dog, he loves this dog so much now. It keeps him company. And especially because it made Cybra seem like she was in a better mood too. And so he was happy about that. He also finds it very interesting that regardless of how much he tried, he couldn't get inside of the house that you guys had left there. And he does make a note. He's like, I tried for a couple days. It didn't really take. No harm, no foul. Just wanted to see. He would peek in through the windows, but still, curiosity and whatnot.
We didn't give him permission to go in the house.
No. Yep, Gideon made sure.
Probably for the best, honestly.
Yeah, probably. So after this recanting of story, after a large hot pot style meal, previously you had used chopsticks to pick up and get food. For this style meal, it's actually just skewers. You can kind of just stab into the food that you want in this giant hot pot, and then just more eat your food that way to make it easier for everyone. As he remembers last time you came through, chopsticks weren't exactly the easiest utensil for several of you. At that point, your mother comes home, and she comes in and does a very similar thing where she embraces you, Cori. And then towards you, Gwen, and you, Arjhan, you see her straighten out her suit coat a little bit and just puts her hands behind her back and just gives a an affirmative nod forward. Thank you for keeping my daughter safe. Our people owe you a great debt. If
no problem.
is anything that Jonquil's shipping or their research and development team can do for either of you, please let us know. And when she said shipping, it was Cori's dad that was don't forget to mention my side gig. She's yes, and research and development.
Yeah,
We'll
no,
be in touch.
Okay. And then at that, after you finished your meal, Caelum, that's the name of your mom? I always want to say Kalima, but I know that's not the case. It's Caelum. She will tell you, Cori, that the judges are waiting.
Okay.
And then
Cori.
it's up to you if you would like to bring your friends with you or not.
100%. She's going to bring her friends with her. This concerns them greatly.
Okay. Sounds good. So you make your way from the Jonquil compound through the city of Spring, and you arrive once again towards nightfall at the giant building that you know is the judge's house. And upon entering inside, as you are making your way, there are celebrations. There is a sense of jubilation that seems to be happening here on the Isle of Spring. And as you actually get to this courthouse, you see two very familiar figures, one shirtless and the other wearing a belt buckle that has the elven word for bang on it. The forms of Diantha and Rudbeck, the Caelums of Spring and Summer. And they both look pleased as punch to see you three making your way in. And Diantha sort of like looks at you, looks at Gwen, looks at Arjhan, and like looks past you looking for Caelum. Does not see him.
He'll be fine. He'll be back. Don't worry.
And
soon.
She kind of gives you that sure-footed, crooked smile and just nods. And then the three Caelums and the other two members of the Four Keeps make your way into the judge's quarters. And the room is dark. It is that illuminated large circle where you know that you are to stand. And the three masks of the judges, the owl, the elf, and the wolf, all descend downward. And they speak loudly, they speak in unison, and they speak clearly. And they say, "To the heroes of the material plane, we owe our eternal gratitude for saving our lands. To the Caelums, Spring and Summer, your duties were of primary importance for protecting the peoples of the land. And for the Caelum of Fall, we applaud you. You managed, beyond all reason, and without a shadow of a doubt, to defend your people, our people, from the forces of winter, from Vinrue's chilled grasp. And for that you have our thanks. You entered this chamber once as a trainee. You entered this chamber twice as a lower Caelum, self-proclaimed. As you rise and as you leave today, you will be the Caelum of the autumn leaves. Unconventional for your age. However, you have proven that you are up to the challenges before you. The promise that each of you made upon your names stands true. You have our gratitude.
Thank you. There are a few matters that I need to discuss. The Caelum of Winter unfortunately fell and was turned to ice. I will be seeking someone capable of greater restoration to restore him.
Do you have his body?
I do.
Yep. And I will roll out the hole.
Zip! Ta-da!
Just the Acme, like, big flip out.
Should we check if Caelum's in there, by the way? Since
It's
we're
just
here.
his
I mean,
his gear now.
I mean,
Yeah, but
we see everything in the hole, right?
Oh, like fucking Caelum just pops out. Ta-da!
yeah. Well, because his thing is in there, so if
Yeah.
he's gonna reappear next to it,
Yeah, it looks like that doll at the little crooks and crevices for the articulation, almost in the same way that you would have like a fog machine or dry ice, that kind of like low resting mist Just seems to be coming out of those joints, but you don't see any body.
Cori will hand the doll to Arjhan.
Okay.
It's the ground. Squeak.
Squeak!
Arjhan feels really weird about holding this, but he will.
But yeah, Cori produces Cypress's ice form.
Yeah. And as you lay this form of an icy boy down onto the ground, the judges 3, they have you, or at least like you step back after laying this body down, and you see the masks all descend. And then they take up points where they are looking down upon him in a triangle-like fashion. And you see the masks begin to rotate. And as they begin to spin in a circle around this iced over body, you can hear what sounds like water pooling as the ice around Cypress begins to melt off, revealing skin's freshest layer underneath. His body returns to the way that it was, but you can see that there are these like deep grooved lines where the fracture lines were, where he was shattered. Even putting him back together, while fine, there were still minuscule pieces that just could not be reclaimed from that. But you see lying on the ground, hair wet, soaked through due to this water, wearing what looks like the same clothes that he was wearing, Cori, all that time ago when you first went there as a trainee. And he looks tired. He looks asleep, but he's breathing. And he doesn't look like he is currently possessed by an ancient winter fae, so big ups, playa. Looks pretty good.
That's super good. Can we have him like taken out and like moved to a medical facility?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say as the masks of the judges return up, Rudbeck will actually go over and just like scoop up Cypress and like bow towards the judges, and then as he's on his way out, he'll look towards you 3 and just, you did good. And then he'll crack you a smile and then continue walking out.
Does remind me, we do have in our possession something very, very powerful that we need to figure out what we're going to do with.
You're
referring
referring
to my
Vinrue.
jar of snow.
Right. That will be a discussion for the Caelums, I believe.
Okay. Do you have the ring?
Yeah, Cori would have the empty ring. You are all still in the judge's chamber, and when you bring up that you have this urn that you have sealed it in, they request that you leave it with them.
Arjhan looks at Cori.
I think I'll be holding on to it for a time.
And the owl face sort of like tilts off to the side, as does the wolf head, but the elven mask just nods and says, "The wheel will need to be repaired, one way or another."
I understand.
They nod.
The fate of Vinrue is a Caelum matter. But I swear the wheel will be repaired.
The masks nod.
There is another matter I need to speak to you with. Actually, Cori's just going to turn around and say, You can get home with the house, can't you?
It's possible.
They can get home with the house.
Yeah. You guys
Okay.
had set up waypoints, most of which were on the material plane.
Turns back to the judges 3. We good.
There's just like emotionless masks just looking down. Just there's a silence, and then they say, "Thank you again, heroes of the material. Should you ever find yourself amongst our isles, you may travel freely."
She gives them a respectful bow, and she says, "Thank you for believing in me." And she leaves.
Thanks, duders.
Yep. And the large masks retreat back into the darkness, and Diantha is there at the door.
Before Arjhan leaves, he's going to just do a deep bow and in the darkness say, "You have a very special Caelum in your service. Always try to remember that." And he'll leave the room.
Okay. Sounds good. So, you have spoken with the Judges 3. You have gained their accolades. Cypress has returned back to the form of a very tired, very alive younger man. And Arjhan, you still have this like steaming doll. Do you just back in the bag?
Well, I don't want him to pop out in my bag.
Back to the house.
I'll put him in one of my coat pockets.
Okay. Sounds good. And by the time that you arrive back at the house outside of the compound, there are what looks like a mix between offerings and like thank you baskets that have been left. There are fruits, there are breads, there are candies, there are small baubles like carved wooden figures of local animals, that sort of thing, that have just been left on your porch. And it seems like you are passing people as they are coming from that say, I heard that the ones from the material plane came in that house. And they don't know what you look like, but they know that that's where you came from. And so they are just leaving things there for you to then find. All things considered, you will find the equivalent of 5,000 gold pieces from these people who are just like leaving you bits and offerings. It's not all collected in one, like it's not like one person dropped off a lump sum, but between all of these gifts, as well as I want to say about 12 pieces of art that are valued at 50 gold pieces. So you find some nice stuff, as well as, again, food, confectionaries, all of that sort of thing.
Any booze?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There, again, these are goodie baskets of people who owe you their life. There's lots of booze.
There's probably a fuck ton of flowers. We're on the spring aisle, like flowers galore.
Oh, yes.
Cori's gonna pick up like a couple of baskets and take them into the domicile, and she will pop some bubbly and like basically flip open a box of chocolates, and she'll pour everybody a drink.
Fucking sweet, man.
I don't actually have a glass with me, unfortunately.
Hold on, I'll just hold this mason jar. Delicious. Dinner. Okay. Sorry. Cori will take a sip and basically say, "Thank you. I couldn't have done this. Literally, I could not have done this without you."
We couldn't have let you try to do this alone.
Yeah. Made a promise.
Right. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to push you out the door or anything, or push myself out the door, as it were. But you two should probably go back to the natural plane as quickly as possible. We have no idea how much time is passing.
Yeah. And that was kind of my idea too.
Do you have a way to get back? Whenever
Yeah,
you're
the
done.
house.
Whenever
Oh.
you're done here.
I can, if I need to. It'd probably be more reliable for you to come and get me if you need me, though.
Cori, you also do have the key.
I do. She's going to pull out the key and kind of put it down on the table. And she says, "I'm leaving the house in your care."
We are gonna call on you again, Cori. The whole thing with the space worms.
Well, I'd better get to work on wrapping things up here.
Yeah, I don't know when that's gonna happen.
We've got a lot of work to do.
You haven't heard anything new from the god that showed you that, did you?
No.
So I guess all we can do is prepare.
Yes. If you can find Oliviette, she also puts down the sending stone. I believe she's still in contact with Illustray, so she could be an asset to you. She's still upset with me, so I wouldn't use me as a bargaining chip.
Are you gonna talk to her?
One day. That is still something that I need to pass out. I don't know exactly what I saw, and it still confuses me.
Well,
But I get a feeling that things might work out between she and I. For
best of
better or
luck.
for worse. As for Caelum, it's probably best if he doesn't come back while I'm here. You will give him my gift, won't you?
Of course. Yeah.
She like sort of stands there for a moment, and then she'll get down and hug Gwen really
Gwen will hug her
earnestly.
back. You're gonna be a great leader. Just find people you trust, okay? Get help when you need it.
If I'm half the leader that you are, I think I might do all right.
Yeah.
She'll stand up and take her glass and clink it against Arjhan's.
I don't get a hug.
Cori tackles him. She was trying to give you an out, man. And there's actual tears in her eyes when she pulls away from Arjhan. And she says, "You're my first friend on the natural plane." Call me sentimental, but When you're gone, I'm going to feel the farthest from there I've ever been.
Well, we'll come back soon. Ish.
I'll miss you. Both of you.
Must miss you too, Cori. If you need us, you know how to get in contact with us, I assume.
I'll find a way.
You ready?
We do know how to drive this thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Caelum would have at least explained. You also know that you can just ask Gideon to take you places.
Caelum wrote a user manual that will never be used.
It was an onboarding document. You never
No one
thought...
reads the manual.
No.
You just gave the group of millennials the RV and just said, "Go be free."
Mm-hmm.
Also, as a question, who is Cybra going with? If you're splitting the party
Us, right?
Who is us? Because you're splitting the party between two planes. Is she staying
Cybra
with Cori?
goes with Gwen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's never in question.
That's my mount.
Cybra and Gwen.
Okay.
She's
have
on
to-
her character sheet, man.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is
Just wanted to check.
sorry. That's how we figure out the ownership
of pets.
wars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the Blink Dog coming with us?
Blink Dog stays.
Is Cybra
Dog's
sad?
name.
Cybra is sad, but one of those, like, they kind of, like, nuzz up against each other a little bit. And then, like, but when you guys are like, all right, it's time to go. I mean, she loves you guys. She just met that other dog. He was nice, but
Who even is that other dog?
who even is he? Who is he?
No, but like for real, who's the other dog?
What's his name?
I think that your dad would have probably given it a gnomish name.
Aw.
Like his name would have been Skipple.
Oh, baby.
You know, Skipple stays. Skipple stays here.
Okay.
Was trying to find a weird pun for 182, but no, it didn't work.
When we come back, Skipple is gonna be on a dog food bag. It's gonna be Skipple brand kibble.
Skibbles Kibbles.
Skipples kibbles.
Oh yeah. So Cori, you exit the house. For what you hope and rightfully believe won't be the last time. And as you exit out the front door, the room that you had in the upstairs living quarters, you see the name just disappear off of the nameplate, and then the wall kind of covers over that door as Arjhan, you, and Gwen ask Gideon to take you home. What destination are you going back to?
We're going to the tribe, right?
Yes.
Where did we set the thing?
There was a hill outside of where the tribe was.
Yes.
I don't know if they are still there. So there.
Yep.
Okay. So we're gonna try and land our house back in Kansas and try to not land on any witches.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
On any shamans.
So, Cori, the house disappears in a flurry of wind and leaves behind you. And Gwen, you and Arjhan, while inside of this house, find yourselves within the next 10 minutes back on the material plane, looking around outside of the windows. You can see that it looks like you're maybe in the middle of fall.
Which would, assuming it was the same year, would be how long?
Assuming it was the same year, probably
A month or two?
closer, like early part of a month.
Okay.
For mechanical thing. As I rolled it, it was a 1-for-1 travel. Every day that you spent in the Feywild was 1 day on the material plane, so you have only been gone for 20 days.
Oh, sweet.
The gods.
So yeah, Gwen, as you exit out of the house, you see that there are Auroch riders. There are all sorts of tribesmen that are more than happy that their chieftain has returned. And you see like large Goliath women that have like, it's like a bandolier of babies kind of thing. Like the great birthing has begun.
Yes.
Yes.
Gwen, the first thing Gwen says to them is, "What year is it?"
And they sort of shrug, but they let you know that it is indeed the same year that you left. It is the same. Actually, it's towards the end of the same month that you guys were actually in before you left. Because you were on the 5th of Wereth on the material plane, and you are now returning on the 25th of Wereth. Congrats. You have returned to the material plane. So, you guys are waiting until Caelum comes back, correct? RJ rolled for it last week, and it was a total of 9 days for his body to come back. It is 1d10 days for the actual process. So, while that is happening, is there anything that the two of you are doing? Are you just, like, leaving his doll set, like, laid up somewhere in the house? Are you carrying it with you?
It's in my coat.
Okay. So, on the... Let's see here. Yeah, on the 3rd and 4th day, so the next day that you've come, like, there is now, like, a gaseous form that is next to the doll that seems to kind of just, like, follow you. And on the...
That's creepy.
Disturbing.
Okay, now I am going to leave Caelum, like, wherever Arjhan is set up.
Okay, probably in your house. He does still have a room, so if you wanted, you could just leave, like, doll propped up on the bed. And on...
Put a note on the door that just says, like, when you're back, just let us know.
Yeah, or you could, like,
It's like,
leave it in the
this is what
kitchen.
you missed. This is how long it's been.
Mm-hmm.
We're outside. Outside is Gwen's place.
Okay.
I imagine that you have to set up a chalkboard that says it has been X days since you died, because like you had to rewrite the note a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
You just have, like, you can also let Gideon let him know. It's just
True.
like, let Gideon tell him how long we've been gone. So that way, like, you don't have to worry about constantly rewriting that part, but you have the note. And, like, I feel like it was, like, a note at a certain point, and then there's been, like, a slap on, like, an addendum, like, oh, and this happened now. Okay, this is happening, that sort of thing. So, Caelum. The last thing that you remember was the chill. It wasn't Arjhan's crossbow bolts sinking into you or the weighty might of Vinrue's primordial paw. It was the chill. It was fine at first, but the longer that the fight had continued, you could feel it seeping into your bones, past your still blood and past your marrow. You could feel the cold within your core. And then everything went black. The same inky black that you remembered had predicated the first time you met your father. But this time, there was no pulling of magic. There was no comforting hand to reach out and pull you from the current in an attempted to pull you apart and away from everything that you knew. There was only darkness. And after what feels like an eternity in that darkness, you feel a source of warmth in front of you, and you reach for it. And as you do, you feel your hand find purchase in another as slender fingers wrap around your own. You hear a stirring groan and feel the tenderness of hair brushing against your cheek, followed by a gentle kiss on the middle of your forehead. Come on, sleepyhead. We've got a big day ahead of us. Her hand cups your cheek as you continue to stir, your eyes opening to meet a pair of beautiful green eyes staring down at you. The kindness in her smile letting you know that this is the place where you are meant to be, right here, by your queen's side. Today was the day that she would lead your people to a new home, a land of promise and prosperity, a land where you could raise your unborn daughter under a new light the two of you had found just for her. Your day passes, and as it does, you greet all of the nobles and travelers who had put their faith in their queen, ushering them in not just as their king, but as their archmage. You never liked that name, King. It always felt like it had too much responsibility attached to it. Surprisingly, being one of the most powerful mages to ever exist somehow made things easier. You didn't have to worry about the political games that your wife dabbled in. You could focus on what made sense, what was tangible, and what could be worked on. But even then, you only had taken the title of Archmage because she was simply too busy ruling. Crafty, clever, and clearly overqualified, your queen was a shining star amongst the blackest night that had always led you home, and she would be the star that would lead you all home. The hour was upon you, and it was time to act as the shepherds that would lead those of faith to their new home, away from the dragon wars to the south, away from the giants and their towering impositions. This would be a new life. You could tell that she was nervous as you helped her into her ceremonial garb, and as you comforted her, she laughed. That beautiful, quiet giggle of a laugh you loved that she made in your closest moments, and assured you that she wasn't the only one, and assured you that she wasn't going to be the only one to be wearing something ridiculous. Motioning to a drawer near her, you laughed, and then motioning to a drawer near her, you looked inside, and you immediately shut the drawer. And then you look back at her as she laughed, and you slowly open the drawer again. You could tell instantly that there was enchantment within every thread. Something like this couldn't be made by just another seamstress or weaver. She had made this for you, and it fit perfectly. The sleeves weren't too long, the trail of the robe was just above, dragging on the ground, and the feeling of safety that you felt by her side was across every single stitch. Pulling her in close, you could feel her heart steady. With the weight of everything that you were about to perform, this is what she had been nervous of? Not the upcoming ritual, but a new robe. Just when you thought you finally understood her, there would always be that side of her that surprised you. She would surprise everyone that day. Atop the tower that the two of you had built, the two of you stood and began your ritual alongside the best and brightest minds that your people had ever known. You knew what you were doing was dangerous, but there were enough mages and contingencies in place that should things fail, you would at least be safe. That's what you had thought, at least. As the ritual continued, it was as though the sky began to strain like glass until you saw a tear, a hole in the sky showcasing a brilliant sun, a fantastical landscape, unperturbed by any living being. And as the ritual continued to rise, it was like the air of your plane entering into that place caused an incredibly quick deterioration. You can see that sun beginning to dim and fade, the landscape beginning to decay around everything. And as you attempt to pull yourself back from this ritual, you see that she is unable to. Looking over, you see that there is light, this utter essence of magic pooling from the queen's eyes as she begins to shift in place. And as she does, you see one of her hands outstretched towards that portal, and the decaying foliage inside stabilizes and then begins to right itself. But as it does, fracture lines from that hole in the sky rip across as far as you can see, miles and miles and miles in every possible direction. The strain of what you were doing becomes very apparent very quickly. And as you attempt to stop, as you attempt to realize your contingencies, it has gone too far. You can hear the strain of the weave loud and clear, and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is not what was supposed to happen. As you try and form some kind of magic to protect this woman who had quite literally raised you from the dead at an early age, you find your ability to cast magic is impeded. Something is preventing you from doing this. And you continue to watch as your fellow mages, the brightest and best, begin to lift up from the ground and are pulled towards this hole in the sky. Your queen begins to levitate from the ground as well, as it seems like there is this element of double speech that is coming from her, like she is caught between the life and death of the very plane that you were attempting to create before you. And the only thing that you can do is call upon a small magical bauble that you had kept with you, just in case. You never wanted it to come to this, but it had. And you cast a banishment upon yourself. You wait and wait inside of this pocket plane of safety, not knowing what was happening. But after the 10 minutes, you reappear at the place where you had left. Everyone was gone. Every single person that attended the ritual that you had set into place was missing. Your queen no longer there. Servants disappeared. And you were left wearing this robe that she had made for you. There was still this hole in the sky, and as you stared up at it, it began to form back in on itself. But you still didn't have the magical capabilities to follow. It took days for your magics to begin working again, and you found out that you were not the only one. Many, many people also seemed to be having difficulties with their magics. Not the dragons or the giants who pulled their magic from the elemental planes, but the other arcane users. And it was during this time that you began to hear rumors that more of these cracks, that more of these holes were opening. People were coming through, not by their own choice. Eventually, from what you understood, after roughly a year of these portals being open and allowing through anything that they could, the dragons and the giants joined together, and through each of these portals, you watched as they disappeared. The war in the south no longer mattering to dragonkind, the giants that had been so staunch in their belief that they were the rightful rulers of this land, giving it up freely, so there would still be a land to exist in. But that didn't stop you. You came to realize and came to learn what happened to your queen as rumors of a new plane came into existence, this place called the Shadowfell. And it hurt. Deep inside you, you knew that that was to be the place of prosperity and promise that would never be, that could never be. And from that point on, you made it your duty to fix her, to find a way to bring things back to the way that they were before, the way that you felt they should have been. Thankfully, with your magical abilities, with your powers, you were able to get in contact with a variety of individuals. You ended up meeting a stone giant by the name of Groon, who taught you a language that you had never thought possible, a way of tapping directly into the weave. You ended up meeting with the goddesses of magic themselves and found out that the real difference between clerical magic and arcane magic was just a matter of thought. It didn't matter where this strength came from. If you worshipped a goddess of magic, it was like praying to the arcane sources themselves. It was going to be one way or the other. Eventually, you figured out that you had initially drawn all of your plans for this plane from drawing energy from the plane of positive energy. And that is what had caused the issue with your queen. You were going to go as deep as you could into the plane of negative energy to find the cure. Polar opposites, as it were. So you devised a plan. You would create a duplicate of yourself, at least for the most part, a simulacrum, to enter into the plane of negative energy for a brief moment, just long enough for the Nightwalker that always trades out from the plane of negative energy whenever anyone goes in to appear. You then bound them to a tome, preventing them from ever chasing you. So you would be able to go through that plane without having to worry about anyone following you. Using a gate spell, you held open that place, and wrapping yourself in this robe meant for an archmage, you began to write in an empty book that you would later leave to a stone giant named Groon to pass on when he felt he had met you once again. And on the front page of that book, you wrote, "For years I thought I was without a home, that even the walls that kept the elements from my back were but a cage. Even when I knew my location, I felt lost, forever losing sense of my place within the world. And for years I thought I was broken, like a statue of porcelain thrown from the highest window of the highest tower on the tallest peak. Regardless of what I was, I could never be the way I was before. The dwarves of the northern region have a practice in their crafts that is typically displayed in their pottery, where if the initial pot breaks, it is instead fixed with gold, silver, or even platinum. The break lines form a visible history as the pot repairs and put on display rather than hidden. Through my trials, the language of the lost became my gold, my silver, my platinum. I was no longer broken, but rebuilt with my pain and my scars illuminating the darkest corners of my own mind. Never again will I trick myself into thinking I am broken beyond repair. Never again will I see my injuries as remission of purpose. Today I rise. Today I understand. Today I learn." And you sign it, C. Nightfeather. And as you take that step through the gate into the plane of negative energy, your eyes open. Caelum, you are lying on a bed inside of a house. You are not in winter. Your body is fine. And you can quickly tap and pad yourself, and looking under your shirt, or I guess you would have reappeared naked.
He's in the buck.
He's in the buck, but looking down, there are no scars on your body. There are no scars on your arms or on your legs, and looking at a standing mirror against the wall, even the scars along your back have all healed. It looks as though this is a new body. And as you look in that mirror as well, you see that there are twin pinpricks of blue light where your eyes should be. And you look a little bit more gaunt than you were previously.
Do I recognize this room as within Gideon?
Yes. And as you arrive, you hear Gideon's reassuring, albeit a bit unnerving voice say, "Ah, so you have returned. I was told this might happen. It has been 29 days. Welcome home. Would you like some tea?"
My things.
And in the corner of the room, propped up, there is your jacket, all of your weapons, everything that you had. I'm assuming that the rest of you would have just left Caelum's stuff there.
Yeah.
Be weird to be like, he's coming back soon. Let's just keep it shit, though.
I'm gonna take his spell book. I'm gonna keep his spell book. If I am not in the house, it's with me.
Okay. Yeah, Caelum, everything except your spell book is there. And there is a note that is on the inside of the door that is written in Arjhan's neat handwriting that outlines everything that has happened. You were able to defeat Vinrue. Cori stayed in the feywild. You were here on the material plane outside of the Goliath camp. There are many babies. And that one is like a note that Gwen added. You can tell the handwriting is very different. She probably like holds, or no, Gwen like.
No, she has very neat handwriting as well.
When she wants to. Yeah.
Gideon, where exactly are we?
We are outside of the Goliath camp.
He will take the owl mask off wherever it's been stored, pop that on, look back in the mirror, and shake his head as he closes the door and heads on out.
Okay. Yeah. You head out the door. I would say that this probably happened. It would have been later in the evening. So I feel like, Arjhan, you are probably downstairs, like either in the kitchen area or in your own room doing paperwork related things.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the sound of Caelum's door open and close.
The camera outside the hall just views the hallway, and it's like the frame later, Arjhan's door is completely open and he's standing in there, like arm outstretched.
Tail end of Caelum's cloak walking down the stairs.
Go back.
Hey.
Are you okay? You're wearing the mask again.
Call it a safety precaution. Still hunted by the Raven Queen after all.
Right.
You look fine.
Well, do you want to go see Gwen?
Yeah, there's some things we need to talk about.
All right. Gideon, get the tea ready.
Of course. Happy to be of service.
Some amount of time later, I guess we find Gwen.
You can boop boop, like, you have your call badges between each other, so it's pretty easy to just the boys up.
Gwen,
Yeah. Sorry. What?
he's back. Please come to Gideon.
Oh, Caelum?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. No, we're not going to do that. That sounds like a very terrible idea. We can't plant crops if we're going to move in a month. Okay? No, I don't want to hear it. Thank you. All right, I'll be right there. Gwen moves to the house, riding on Cybra.
Ah, woo.
Oh, woo. Busts in the door.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Oh,
They're just in the kitchen.
what's that?
Caelum turns, tilts his head.
Oh, why are you wearing that thing? That's fucking creepy. Welcome back. Sorry. Hey.
Thanks. It's good to see you too, Gwen.
Sorry, I've been busy. You know how many babies there are?
As many as you asked for.
I mean, I'm here for it, but I'm just saying it's a lot of work.
You did literally ask your tribe for a baby boom.
And we got it, man. It's been like 3 weeks nonstop of babies. I mean, not that since I've been here. We've only been here for like 9 days.
Right. It's a 1-to-1 then, our travel from here in the Feywild.
Yes.
Yeah, well, this time.
Yeah, figures.
Cori stayed behind. I don't know if you saw her note. Obviously, yeah, she's got stuff to do.
I did not see her note.
It would have been in
Oh.
the note
No,
that
our
Arjhan
note.
left. Yeah, which she basically like outlined like it took it took us this many days from when we defeated Vinrue to get back to spring. Cori stayed behind.
And
All
just
of that.
like, here's what you missed on Glee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Previously
time
on
on
Dragon Ball Z.
Supernatural.
Yes.
Right. While I was away, I saw a bit more of Corvain's memories.
Okay.
It was a real-time simulation of the Sundering.
Oh shit.
A what?
Yeah.
The reason why we don't have dragons and giants anymore.
Oh, the big war?
No,
What
after that.
the
Oh.
plane breaking.
Right. Yep.
Also, hey. Corvain was married to the Raven Queen. And, their child... Boink, 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 boink.
You fucked the Raven Queen?
Yes, Gwen. I had an explicit dream where I was banging the Raven Queen.
But it was like real. You said it was real. This was a memory. You fucked the Raven Queen. Oh my God. You're your shield's dad. Right? This is how this works, right? Am I getting this completely wrong?
No, different person.
Yes.
You see Corvain's memories, but you are not Corvain.
I
Oh.
don't think so, for the very least. It's like how Cori has past lives. Corvain
Yeah.
is mine.
So, okay, all right. They're like your Goliath spirits, not like you're reincarnated into who you are, but you were them.
Something similar to Tarlayan and myself.
But you are a clone of Tarlayan. But you didn't... Okay, hold on.
Gideon, can I have some whiskey with this tea, please? Thank you.
How do all of us and our lineages work?
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know.
We can talk about that in Nights in the Courtyard.
We've got Gwen with a bigger Gwen who's a Goliath sort of thing that got fucked over. We've got you, a part of the Raven Queen's boo thing. And you got me,
Clone me.
clone me.
Hi, I'm Cori. I have 3 houses.
And 2 parents.
But all of the baggage. Anyway, where was I getting off to?
The Sundering.
Right. They were making a place for themselves, drawing on the plane of positive energy, but something was wrong. It collapsed. Corvain wanted to go into the plane of negative energy to seek a cure for his queen. I don't know what happens after that. Well, actually I do. He dies because I'm here. But the man was good. Getting into the plane of negative energy, he used a simulacrum first. Nightwalker went after that. Bound it in a book. Step 1, I guess. Where's my book?
Sorry, I have it. I bet my microphone just changed. I have it. It's in my room at the camp. I just didn't want you waking up and then leaving.
You do know that I only need that book to change the spells I know. The spells I know already are.
What, do you have teleport?
We're getting off the subject.
I know that now.
Anyway. It's a lot. It's a lot.
That sounds like a very, very painful memory to re-experience. And a very heavy one.
I need some time to think.
I mean, the only thing we have to do right now is go to Shroudport. We've been discussing that.
All right, well.
Can you get in contact with Philip now that you're up? We'll make things a lot easier.
I'm gonna need my spell book for sending.
All right, hold on. Gwen is going to... Sorry, I just spilled a lot of wine.
LB!
Oh.
I'm really bad about this.
I'll go through the time security channels to see if I can get a status on Philip.
Yeah. So Philip, you guys had the house initially. When you had last dropped him off, where did you drop Philip off?
Not Silk Creek?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because that's where Ruddick was.
Yeah, he's just been in Silk Creek for the last, 20 days or so. Just been getting to know the other individuals that are there who have also been hired by Tyrant Security. They bought an inn. They don't know what to name it yet, but it's there. Open to suggestions.
That's it. That's the name.
I'm not fixing the timeline, Endor. I'm not doing it.
Not this time. But yeah, they're just kind of working on getting things. Apparently, he ended up buying it from a tiefling fellow who sold him the building at a very reasonable rate. He has not seen them since.
Peter!
We need to find him.
We do need to find him.
You need to
That's
find him.
Yeah. I have, 60 days to do that?
It was a year.
A year, okay.
Oh.
Cool. All right. Okay. Step 1, step 2. Okay. So we have to fix We have to fix Shroudport. And then, well, I'll just tell Philip to come back here to the camp if he wants to. Now that I'm here.
Okay. I mean, we could just meet him.
True, if we're gonna go down to Shroudport. We have to find Peter. Oh, Caelum. I have something else of yours. Will you come with me to my room?
Okay.
We'll be right back. Gwen like moves up to her room and like closes the door behind them. All right. Before Cori left, she gave me something to give to you. And she said, and I wrote this down, this is truly and freely given. Okay? That was very important. And then I'm going to hand off a Twilight Lotus that Cori gave Gwen to give Caelum.
Caelum takes it and looks at it.
It's currently closed. Looks a wee bit shriveled.
A little bit of water, and this should... He'll walk over to his room and ask Gideon for, like, a small pot filled with water.
Yeah.
And he'll just put it there. Gideon,
Gwen,
do you
like,
have
leans.
the ability to send messages to prior residents?
Gideon confirms that they do not. I am only able to message those within the house. Once you have left the domicile, you are outside of my purview.
He'll click his sending stone and message Cori.
She gave it back to us.
Are you kidding me? I worked really hard on those.
Wait, did she give the...
Oh, no, I gave him the Oliviette sending stone.
Right.
Oh, okay.
For us to get in contact with her.
Yeah. Yeah, she should still have that, but does it work across planes?
I'd have to roll, right?
Yeah, you'd have to roll
5% chance if it doesn't go through or something like that. $64. 5 off from being nice.
Yeah, the message will go through.
I'm alive. If you want to truly be forgiven, do better. Be a light, Caelum.
How much time has passed for Cori?
You're muted.
I'm not muted. I was just thinking with my mouth moving.
I do that too.
Roll a d20?
Okay. Oh my god.
20 years have passed.
It's been 30 years.
Yeah, it's
It's been 3,000 years.
4.
100 years.
4. That is that days in the Feywild are seconds on the material plane. So Cori, like the house is gone. You're strutting on back. You got this new blink dog that's like coming up next to you.
She is literally lifting a gift basket and getting ready to go and see Cypress.
Yeah, and then you receive Caelum's message.
Okay.
And Cori, something strikes you about that message. Make a history check.
Concerning me. I got an 8.
Okay.
Stayed up, Cori.
Stayed up, Cori.
That's fine.
That's in the courtyard. I want to talk about this.
I'm so concerned. Okay.
So yeah, you have your gift basket.
Can she respond?
You have the fucking beep boops. Yes, you can respond.
Do
You
I
have a pager.
Do I have to roll for it to work?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Is it a D20 or
It's a
D100?
D100.
It's a D100. Okay, I'm rolling.
I should really instruct all of you how to use your tyrant
I
security
got
stuff.
a 65.
Okay. Yes, your message goes through.
Cool. All right, great. Glad to hear you're doing better. I hope you got my gift. Truly and freely. That's the end of the message.
Did you tell her I said hi?
Blank owl mask as he turns. You have a sending stone.
Right, but that feels kind of needy. It's like, hey, if I message her, then we're going to have a conversation. If you just tack it on the end of yours, then it's just like it's there. We don't need to address it sort of thing.
Character, I totally get that, though.
So, as Cori, you have this gift basket and you are making your way to go visit Cyprus. I like the idea of us leaving it off with Gwen staring up at Caelum. Did you tell her I said hi? And I think that's where we will call it for tonight's session of Dungeons and Dragons. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop by and join us for the first part of the first session of our new story arc, Departure. So with that, hey RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, but you can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life and sometimes play video games with some of these nerds. I'll play video games with you, baby.
Yay.
We could have a Hades night. Instead of watching Jujutsu Kaisen.
No.
Oh yeah.
Watching Jujutsu Kaisen.
Anyway, you can catch me here always as Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard Cleric, on it's Elegant Magics Week, so catch me over at GGK, where I play Jarvis Hawk, a magic thief, good boy, actually, kind of turning out. No, he's bad. He's pretty bad. He's a bad man. And on Saturday over at GGK once again for Saturday Night Apocalypse, which is Princess of the Apocalypse loosely. We're fighting Mothra and King Kong now. It's weird.
We're fighting Mothra on Sunday night.
You're fighting Mothman.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. My bad.
A much sexier difference.
Yeah. Sunday mornings, you can catch me over at the Hype Goblins channel, where I play Rollin Grandbrook. He's a cleric, sorcerer, half-elf who just needs to keep everybody up. And also on Wednesdays, Connor and I will be over at Open for Adventures, starting a new game. I'll be playing a Leonin Barbarian, Path of the Beast. He's a sad boy. But which one of my characters isn't? DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches. I stream 7 streams in 6 days, so let's do this. That's my normal weekly schedule now, guys. Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, I do GGK. I do Slang 101, Monster of the Week game. Monday night, I'm here. Tuesday on my channel at 3 o'clock-ish. I stream variety games, usually Dead by Daylight or Overwatch is what I'm sticking to. And then later on GGK, we are switching between the Land of Eam game and our Masks game. Wednesday night, back on my channel, we are doing a Monster of the Week game with Jordan with PH and Savvy Seaworth and the Kraken's Crown and Sir Lucian. We are this week is episode 3 of 4, so we are getting into the end game. On Thursday, I will be on Nerd Immersion's channel doing Baldur's Gate 3 with all of those lovely people over there. Friday, I will be back on my channel with Lauren. We're going to be doing Dead by Daylight this week because she has to travel and we're going to do it a little bit earlier. And then Saturday is my day off. Oh, also, I'm doing a giveaway on my Twitter. If you go to my Twitter, we reached 200 followers on Twitch. So we're doing a giveaway of some fun stickers and some exclusive merch that you can't get anywhere because we're hand making it, basically. So yeah, thanks so much. And that's me, DanaeKeener.com.
Hi!
I'm Cyber. You can find most of my stuff at cyberwolf1201.live. It's got links to my Twitch, where right now on Saturdays we are playing through Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. Oh my god, is that game jank as fuck? But it's been a very good time. Just laughing at the game. Archives that are on YouTube, youtube.com/cyberwolf121. My Twitter links to Let's Talk About It. New merch that looks really cool, like neck gaiters and stuff. All that's on cyberwolf121.live. Super cool. You should check it out. Also check out Jabroni TV. It's got a lot of cool people doing a lot of cool streamy stuff. New episodes of Minecraft are going out that I edited and had a lot of fun editing. You should check them out. And also, hey, I'm a video editor now. Look at me. And then for RPG stuff, I'm here on Mondays clearly, and we're still gonna be here for a bit. And like RJ said, on Wednesday, we're gonna be over on Open for Adventure, starting a new campaign, along with at Dr. Petrichor, at Kids of Hemlock, and at Media Flare, all on Twitter. I'm hyped. I think RJ's hyped. So stop by. It's gonna be a good time. And then immediately after on Thursday, finale of Tyrant Security. Because we didn't do that last week. Hoo boy. That's gonna be fun. Not horrible at all. And then at some point in February, I'm playing Werewolf the Apocalypse on my channel because of the game, but hey, we're gonna be coming back eventually in February at some point to play Werewolf the Apocalypse, the tabletop game. So yeah, check them out at High Shelf Gaming. And I think that's me. DanaeKeener.com.
Hey, speaking of DanaeKeener.com, hi everybody, I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me on Twitter at Danae Keener, and that's where my schedule is. Well, that's it. DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am, but if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/IndoorAdventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/IndoorAdventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. But for now, we are going to be going into our Patreon supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community but also from each other. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, or want to find out what the fuck is happening with people's lineages, hey, guess what? You can go to patreon.com/IndoorAdventures, check that one out. But for now, we are going to be heading into that after show, so I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by to join us. Thank you to these amazing players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!